Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing really well and welcome to Music Lessons Live here on the New Wave Arts Facebook page with me, Ollie. I hope you're all doing marvellously well this Wednesday. As I always mention, these lessons are every Monday, Wednesday and Friday here on the New Wave Arts Facebook page. They'll also be going up onto YouTube afterwards if you missed out. And as well as we will be making sure that these get to some schools for their online resource pages, so those who asked as well. So if you tuned in on Monday, you'll know that we are doing Obviously by McFly on the guitar. I've got my guitar here ready to go. So if you haven't had a chance to catch the first part that we did, you can head back and have a look at that video after this one to see what we did on Monday. Today we're going to go through the second part. I'm going to quickly put the tab in below for you to see. As I mentioned, we are going to go through the second part today. We didn't get everything done in verse 1 from Monday, so we're going to do the final little line of verse 1 that we didn't get a chance to do, and then we're going to have a little look at the chorus as well. We also go through a little bit of theory in these lessons as well, and today we're going to go over what kind of makes up a chord and how chords work as well. And I will go through that first before we crack on to the second part of Obviously, so the chorus and that last line in verse 1. So when we're playing our chords, as you'll see on the tab that I've put in below, chords, as I mentioned in our first lesson, are made up of different notes. Okay, so when we play an instrument, we can play a note. When we play multiple notes together, we create a chord. Okay, and each chord has a different makeup of notes. So for example, if I was playing C major, which is a chord that you can see in the tab if you've got it open. If you don't have, if you can't open the tab for whatever reason, just make sure you've got a pencil and a piece of paper on standby ready to use as well. So a C major chord, I'll play it quickly now on my guitar. Okay, I have got my capo on as well, so those of us who tuned in on Monday will know a capo is a tool to help us change the key of our instrument that we are playing. They're usually used on guitars, so you'll know that doesn't quite sound like a C chord, but it's definitely the C chord shape. Okay, when I'm playing my C chord, I'm playing what is known as a major triad. Okay, what does a major triad mean? Well, this is the C major chord, and as I mentioned, major is that happy sounding chord. Major triad is the different notes in that chord. So triad, okay, tri meaning three. So in our C major chord, we've got three important notes that create our major chord. So that is C, E, and G. So if you play the C note, the E note and the G note together, you will create the C major chord. So that is the major triad. So major triad is we're playing the root note. What do I mean by the root note? So that's the most important note in our C major chord, which is C. Okay, and that's its name, and so that's going to be the most important note. So that's what we call the root note. Like the roots of a tree, it's where it starts. Okay. So if you think of a tree, it starts off as that little, let's say an oak tree, it starts off as that little acorn, and then the roots grow from there, and then it grows upwards. So the root note, the C, is the most important note. After that, the second most important note is what we call the major third. So in our sequence of C, we go C, and then just like counting through the alphabet, C, D, E. E is the third note in our sequence. So we're starting on the root, which is C, and then we just count up three. So C, D, and then E. And this is what we call, as I mentioned, our major third. Now, if we wanted to play a minor chord, for example, all we do is we change that major third into a minor third. Okay, so we are flattening, we are changing that middle note, that major third, into a minor third. Okay, and then the final note that's really important in our major triad sequence is what we call a perfect fifth. So this is the fifth note in our chord. So all we do is counting from C, which is our root note. We go C, D, E, F, and it's G. So G is the third most important note when we're playing the C major chord. And that's what creates our major triad. This is what creates our C major chord. So the root, the major third, the perfect fifth. C, E, and G. Okay? If we wanted a minor chord, we would have a minor triad. And all we do in our minor triad is we change that major third into a minor third. So the note changes as well. For example, if we decided to play A major, what we would do is we would change our major third, which is C sharp, and we would change it to C. So we're moving it down by one note. We're moving it down by a semitone to C to A minor. So that major third has now become a minor third instead. What do I mean by a semitone? When we play different notes, the space in between those notes is, we call them semitones. Okay, so a semitone up from a semitone up from C would be C sharp. If you wanted to say a tone, that would be one big step up. So a tone up from C would be D. Okay, because it's almost like a two-step. So semi kind of meaning one, a whole tone meaning like two steps up. Okay, so I know this information is quite mind-boggling, but make sure you remember, you can pause me, you can rewind me as well. This stuff we're doing now about chords is a little bit more difficult. Okay, so for those of us our younger viewers, don't worry too much on doing major triads, all this, that, and the other. All you've got to know is when you play the C major chord, C, E, and G are the notes that we use to play that chord. And because we know that, is we can play our C major chord in lots of different places on our guitar. Okay? And this is why playing guitar is such a cool instrument, because we can play the same note in the same kind of chord in lots of different places. So if we were doing a solo, for example, or wanted to change the way a chord sounded ever so slightly, is we can use different parts of the guitar to help us out with that, playing the same note, the same chord, just in a different area. So that's why I think guitar is a pretty cool instrument. Right, hopefully that gives you a bit more of an idea of how chords work. So thinking about those major and minor triads, there are other kind of chords that you can come across, but I'll just keep for the basics for now, because we could go on forever about chords. Right, let's crack on with Obviously by McFly. So on Monday, we went through that verse 1. Playing that C to C add 9, then going to G, to F, to C add 9. The next part that is important, the next section on our verse 1 is this part here. So it's just going in to the chorus. Now the chords on here, we've only got one new chord that we're adding in today. The other chords are what we've done previously in our last video on Monday. So that is F major, C major, F major again, C major, our new chord for today, which is D minor, and then G major again. So in all of these lessons, I'm going to go over the chords now and the chord shapes. And then what I'll do is I'll go through 2 strumming patterns for you. A nice and easy one for those of us who are maybe playing on the ukulele or quite struggle playing those more difficult strumming patterns, and a more difficult strumming pattern as well for those of us who are feeling a little bit more confident when we're playing. As always, if you don't have a capo, please don't worry too much. You can still play what I've put up in the comments along with that tab. Just make sure that when you're playing, it's going to sound different to what I'm playing today. As well, the chord shapes will be exactly the same, even if you don't have one of these, or if you do have one of these capos on your guitar. So make sure your capo is on fret number 1 if you've got one today. And we will go through them now. So F major. So F major. So is what we're going to do is we're going to take our 3rd finger or our ring finger on our left hand. If you're playing left-handed, this will be with your right hand, making sure that you're holding your guitar in the correct position as well. You're going to place it on the 3rd fret of the D string here. Okay. You're going to place your 2nd finger, your middle finger, on the 2nd fret of the G string. Okay, so that 3rd string down. Then, as I mentioned in our last lesson, you're going to what we call bar. So we're using one finger to play multiple strings. You're going to bar the B and E string on the 1st fret. So if you can do that, you should get this. And again, as I mentioned on Monday, we are not playing these lowest 2 strings here. All we're doing is we're playing these 4 strings. So D, G, B and E. And that is our F major chord. Next chord to that is C, C major. So if you were tuning in then, you'll know all about our C major chord and how it's made up. So we're going to play C. So first of all, we need to take our ring finger again, and we need to place it on the 3rd fret of A, which is here, this string here. We take our 2nd finger or our middle finger, we place it on the 2nd fret of D. Okay. Now I know I've got my capo here, and I know that technically I'm on frets 4 and 3, but because our capo is here, we usually kind of readjust for that. So we usually say that the next fret to it here, okay, is fret number 1. Finally, we take our 1st finger and we place it on the 1st fret of the B string, and that is C major. Now again, when we're playing, we don't want to strike this lowest string here, this E string. All we want to do is we want to play starting from A and then strum down. So that is C major. We then go back to F again, and then we go back to C once more, and then we go to D minor. So this is our new chord for today. We've got some other chords coming up in our chorus section as well, some new ones, but this is our first new chord for today. So D minor is what we're going to do is this. We're going to place our 2nd finger or our middle finger on the 2nd fret of G. We take our 3rd finger and we place it on the 3rd fret of B. And then we take our 1st finger and we place it on the 1st fret of E. Okay? And when we're playing, we're starting on the D string here, and we're going to strum. And that is D minor. So that is our new chord for today. Again, if you feel like I'm going a bit too quickly, just pause me here or rewind, have a little practice, and then carry on with me afterwards. Okay, the best thing to do is give yourself a lot of time. Again, making sure you're playing on the tips of your fingers, making sure that your thumb, okay, is in the middle of the guitar neck. So that crab claw technique, really pushing down, pinching on those strings, making sure you're pressing down nice and hard. And always playing through those chords nice and slowly to start with. Okay, going through each note and saying to yourself, can I hear all those notes nice and clearly? Okay, brilliant. Right, after that, we go to G major. So again, G major, we went through this in our last session on Monday, and I'll quickly recap it again. So we take our second finger, or our middle finger, we place it on the 3rd fret of the E string here. We take our first finger and we place it on the 2nd fret of the A string here. And then we take our 3rd finger, our ring finger, and we place it on the 3rd fret of the E, the high E string here. So we're really stretching when we're playing. And that is G major. Okay. So let's quickly recap all those. So we've got F major, we've got C, we've got F major again, we've got C, we've got D minor, and then we've got G. Okay. Right, I'm going to quickly go over the strumming pattern, the 2 strumming patterns, so the easier one, and then the more challenging one, the more difficult one, and then we'll go through the chorus quickly. So, the easy strumming pattern sounds like this. So that is our easy strumming pattern. Our more difficult strumming pattern is this. Okay, so again, when we're counting out, for obviously, it's that swung rhythm. So I'm going to be counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and instead of going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and which is what we call a straight rhythm. So our easy strumming pattern, we're first playing F on beat 1, and then each chord lasts 4 beats. So you strum on beat 1, and then we're going to count out 4. So we strum first on beat 1, and we strum on beat 2 as well. So we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all I'm doing is strumming down. So again, if you're playing at home, it's our thumbs up technique if we haven't got a plectrum. If we've got a plectrum, so a little plastic pick to help us out, is we're strumming down on beats 1 and 2. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then we play C on beat 1, and we just let that ring out for 4 beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we do F again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and then C, 2 and 3 and 4. And then we change to D minor, playing that on beat 1, and we let that ring out for 4 beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we go to G, and again we let that ring out for 4 beats again. So let's try and play through that now. If I rushed a bit too much there or went a little bit too fast, again, pause me, rewind me, and then have a little time to practice that. Have a little time playing and trying to change into those chords. So if you've just started doing that F chord, playing on beats 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and try then adding in C afterwards. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and practice that a couple of times, and then slowly build it up, adding to those, the new chords as you go along. Right, let's try and play that first line with the easy strumming pattern. Okay, so again, F we play on beats 1 and 2, C just playing on beats 1 and holding it out for 4 beats, F again for beats 1 and 2, C once for 4 beats, D minor, beat 1, 4 beats, and then the same for G as well. Here we go. I'm going to take it nice and slowly. I'm going to do a 4-beat counting before we start, so we're prepared, we're ready, and we can really feel the beat and the timing. and then we're going to have a go. Okay? Right, here we go. F chord ready. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 brilliant, really well done if you're able to play along then. If not, don't worry, have a little practice and then give it another go. Right, the more complicated, the more difficult strumming pattern sounds something like this. 3, 4. So it's a very similar strumming pattern to what we did on Monday. It's that down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Okay? The F chords is we do something similar to what we did for that simple strumming pattern. So we're just playing on beats 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then for C, it's that down, 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 up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we play on beats 1. So down, 1 and 2 and. So we play on beats 1 and 2. And we play on beat and I think we strum up on beat and. So it's 1 and 2 and. So it's down on beats 1 and 2, up on beat 2 and then 3 and 4 and we go down, up, down, up. So it's 1 and 2. Sorry, up, down, down. Okay, I've just dropped my plectrum. Just going to quickly pick that up. Right, so again, so it's that down, down, up, up, down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So playing on beats and 4 and at the end. Okay, so again, when you're playing that more complicated strumming pattern, it's really important that you keep that hand motion. Okay, your hand never stops moving when you're playing. And as I said on Monday, there's a couple of little techniques, a couple of little practicing exercises you can do to really help you when you're strumming and working on your strumming patterns as well. And that's basically going up and down on the guitar, and maybe try counting out as well. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then miss out either a number or an and. So if you wanted to miss out 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and then slowly take out other numbers and other beats as well. And over time you'll get used to your hand continually moving up and down, but just missing out those different moments of when you're strumming and playing. Right, let's try that more complicated strumming pattern now. So again, it is down, down, up, down, up. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay. For C, C, D minor and G. F, we just play on beats 1 and 2. Okay. Here we go. Let's give it a go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Brilliant, really well done if you were able to play along then. If not, as I always mention, pause, rewind, practice, have a go, and then try playing along again in a moment. Right, we'll have a little look at the chorus and then we will call it a day. So the chorus sounds something like this. Okay, so that is the chorus, and I played that more complicated strumming pattern as well. So, the chords for the chorus. First of all, we've got C. Before we then go into E major. Okay? Then we go into F. Before we go into D major. Then we've got F again. Before we go to G. And then C. Then to E major. F. F minor. And then C to C add 9. Okay? So, let's go through those chords one more time, and I will show you those 4 new chords, as well. So we've got, first of all, we've got C. Then we've got E major. So E major is what we do is we take our first finger, or our index finger, we place that on the first fret of the G string here. We take our third finger, our ring finger, and we place that on the second fret of the D string here. And then we take our middle finger, or our second finger, and we're going to stretch over, and we're going to place it on the A string here on the second fret. And that is E major. So where our 2 fingers are here are our middle finger and our third finger. You really want to tuck those fingers in, making sure that they're right on top of each other, pressing down nice and hard on those 2 strings. And again, we're playing all the strings this time, so we're starting from E and we're going through all of them. Oh, let's try and get the chord right. So that is E major. Okay. After E major, we go to F, and then we go to D major. So D major is a lot like our D minor chord, but this time we're changing 1 note. So if you tuned in right at the start, thinking about those minor triad to major triad, we're changing that minor third into a major third. So D major is we take our first finger, or our index finger, we place it on the second fret of the G string here. We take our second finger, or our middle finger, we place it on the second fret of the high E string here. And then we take our third finger, our ring finger, and we place it on the third fret of the B string here. So we get that nice triangular shape with our fingers. And we're starting on D here, and then we're just strumming down. And that is D major. After that, we go to F. We go to G. We go to C. We go back to E major. We go to F. Now we go to F minor. So, F minor, again, we're changing our major third to a minor third. Okay? So in our F major sequence, we've got F, A, and then C. So we're changing that A to an A flat to get that minor feel, that minor sound. And all we have to do is create our F major chord shape. So third finger on the third fret of D, second finger or our middle finger on the second fret of G, and then barring on the E and B string on fret 1. And all we do is we take away our middle finger or our second finger, and we just want to make sure that our first finger is now barring also the D string on the G string on fret 1. So when you're playing this from F major to F minor, make sure that your first finger is already prepared to play that first fret on G. To get F minor. After that we go to C, and And for those of us who want to have a go, you don't have to play this chord. Is you can play C add 9, so we're adding our fourth finger, our pinky finger, onto the third fret of B. Okay. Right, let's go through the strumming pattern. I'm going to show you two strumming patterns now. So one of them is our simple version. Okay, and all we're doing for our simple strumming pattern is we're playing on beats 1, 2, 3 and 4 once for each chord. So C, we play on beats 1, 2, 3 and 4. We go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we change to E, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and all we're doing is we're strumming down on beats 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we do that for all the chords in the chorus. If you want to play our more complicated strumming pattern, is what we're doing is we're doing the strumming pattern that we've done in verse 1 and in that final line on verse 1 as well. So where we're going down, down, up, up, down, up, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 2 and we do that for the first and second line, and then on the third and fourth line for F we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So for F and G, we only strum down on beats 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we go back to that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then on the fourth line, again, strumming down on beats 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then for F minor we do exactly the same, and then we go back to that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If you're adding in that C add 9 chord, that comes on beat 2 and. So it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? Again, if I've gone through that really quickly, just pause me, rewind, rewatch as well, just so you can go through that again, and then when you're ready and had a little bit of practice time, try and play along with me. Right, we're going to try playing this chorus now. So I'm going to play the more complicated strumming pattern. If you want to play the simple one, again, you're just playing it on beats 1, 2, 3 and 4, and you're strumming down. Each chord is only 4 beats long. We're going to take this nice and slowly. Once we've done this, we're going to have a go at adding in that last line before the chorus, playing through the chorus, and then we'll call it a day. Right, okay, here we go. I'll do my quick counting, and then we'll give it a go. So C chord ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 to E and 2 and 3 and 4 to F, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to D, 2 and 3 and 4, F, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. F again. Make sure your finger's there for F minor. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Brilliant, very well done if you're able to play along then. If not, don't worry, you've got lots of time to practice. Right, let's try and go from the last line on verse 1 into that chorus. Okay, so again, quick recap. We've got F, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. To C, F, only playing on beats 1 and 2, remember. To C, D minor, and then G. G, we play for 4 beats and then go straight into the chorus. Right, let's give it a go. F chord ready. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 to F, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 minor, 2 and 3 to G. Here we go, C, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, E, 3 and 4 to F, 2 and 3 and 4 to D, 2 and 3 and 4 to F, 2, 3 and 4 and G, 2 and 3 and 4 and C, to E major, to F again, make sure that finger's there ready for F minor, and then C to C add 9. Brilliant, well done. If you're able to play along, then lots going on there. So it's not too easy if you've done that for the first time. As I always say, practice, practice, practice. Make it into little bite-sized chunks. So, for example, if you wanted to work on just going from C to E major to F, just work on that for a little bit. Get that sounding really, really good, and then carry on. Right. So I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. On Friday, we're going to go through the rest of the track. Luckily for us, it's quite repetitive. So we've got another chorus, another little verse, and then we've got a little bridge section before we finish off on the chorus. And we're going to have a go on Friday at playing all the way through, obviously. As I always say, this will be going up onto YouTube and will be staying up on our Facebook page as well, so you guys can view in the future. And to those schools who have asked, this will be going up onto your online resource pages as well. Remember to like, comment, subscribe and share, and I will see you all on Friday to learn the final part of Obviously by McFly and to have a go at playing all the way through. Well done guys, and I'll catch you all soon.